How many of y'all have ever taken a drive from deep in Los Angeles to more affluent cities like Manhattan Beach or El Segundo? What are some of the differences you notice? For me, one of the biggest things I notice are that all of a sudden there stops being so many liquor stores and convenience stores on every corner, and all of a sudden these healthy restaurants start appearing. This sad phenomenon is called the food desert, and it is very prevalent among communities of people of color. LA Food Bank, LA Food Bank, thank you, defines food deserts as areas where access to affordable, nutritious food is limited, non-existent, particularly for residents without reliable transportation. These areas are often urban neighborhoods or rural towns lacking supermarkets, grocery stores, or other sources of fresh, healthy food. Instead, convenience stores and fast food restaurants dominate, offering processed and calorie-dense options with little nutritional value. For me, this cause hits different because my auntie lived in a small rural town in Arizona, and she passed of colon cancer recently. Her city only really had like a Walmart, and we know that store kind of only sells like ultra-processed foods. So this cause just hits different. For me, I grew up in Inglewood, so I know that we only have like a lot of restaurants or like burger spots available to us, and not like a wide variety of like healthy fresh foods are available to us. So yeah, like I mentioned, I was born and raised there in Inglewood, and we don't have many options. I work in Manhattan Beach, and I realized that they actually have a lot of spots like Cava, Mendocino Farms, Bristol Farms, and so on. There's so many options that offer better food options that are less processed, are made with less toxic and cancerous pesticides, and so on. I grew up on stores like El Super and things like that, like stores of that nature, which sadly don't offer many healthy options like Greek yogurts or like even a lot of cottage cheese options or other whole foods. Like what if I wanted to buy organic produce? I don't really have the option to. Food deserts are inherently racist, have really detrimental effects on lower earning individuals, and are not being addressed enough by our current administration. Today I will be discussing how racism and redlining is behind the limited food options available in inner cities, and how food deserts can be the difference between life or death, and how local politicians and even our administration in the White House is not doing enough to change this dangerous and pressing issue. Food deserts are racist. Redlining has made it so that lower income residents are forced to live in denser areas in the middle of the city, where temperatures are higher because we have more concrete and less trees. In these communities where lower earning people have been pushed to find good sources, where people of color have been pushed to, food sources are scarce. Instead, there are many fast food spots like liquor stores or convenience stores. LA Food Bank states that obtaining fresh fruits, vegetables, and other nutritious foods is a significant challenge for those living in food deserts. This lack of access often leads to poor dietary issues, increasing the risk of chronic illnesses such as obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Without proper nutrition, children struggle to focus in school, adults find it harder to perform at work, and families face mounting healthcare costs, creating cycles of poverty and health disparity. Due to lack of access to nutritious foods, people who live in food deserts often rely on fast foods for sustenance, putting us at a higher risk of diet-related health issues such as diabetes, heart disease, obesity, hypertension, and so on. The USDA identifies the following community characteristics as those likely to become a food desert: a large or sparse population, low income residents, high unemployment rates, inadequate access to transportation, fewer food retailers to sell fresh food at affordable prices. Again, this is from povertyusa.org. The latest Household Food Security Report by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's ERS, Economic Research Service, reveals that 47.9 million % lived in food insecure households last year, as of 2025. These findings highlight a crisis that is set to deepen as the cuts to the SNAP program take effect. Studies have found that wealthy districts have 3 times as many supermarkets as poor ones do, that white neighborhoods contain an average of 4 times as many supermarkets as predominantly white ones do, and that groceries in African American communities are usually smaller with less selection. People's choices about what to eat are severely limited by the options available to them and what they can afford. And many food deserts contain an overabundance of fast food chain spots that are high in sugar and salt. Processed foods such as snack cakes, chips, and soda, typically sold at corner delis, convenience stores, and liquor stores, are usually just as unhealthy. Food deserts cause a variety of negative effects such as diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, and so on. By limiting who has access to these restaurants, the companies are essentially saying who's worthy of eating their fresh foods. People who struggle with finding reliable transportation are also disproportionately affected by this issue. About 58% of Black adults in the US have high blood pressure, according to heart.org. Columbia University stated that women are 35% more likely to experience poverty. People of color are more susceptible, with, as of 2021, the stat was that 20% of Black Americans were facing food insecurity. As of 2022, that number rose to 23.3%, which is a pretty big increase from one year to the other. This 23.3% number comes in is compared to the 7% of white households that face food insecurity. Due to wage gaps, higher unemployment rates, and high limited education system, this is, next. Last time this issue was really addressed by the administration was when Michelle Obama removed processed foods from elementary schools. This was an effort done that changed the trajectory of elementary schools around America at the time, preventing obesity from happening through schools. Even before that, the Black Panther Party is the one that implemented school lunches because they recognized communal efforts to raise healthy children and that all our kids deserve to have access to food while at school. For many, these lunches raised and were a crucial part of growing up. This current administration is wreaking havoc overseas and has not addressed any of the worsening domestic issues that we have. Since this issue is an issue that disproportionately affects people of color, it is something that the admin couldn't care less about. It's insane to see that food insecurity is only worsening and food deserts are so prevalent, and it literally has not been addressed at all. The opposite actually happened when SNAP benefits were cut. Food deserts are a racist issue that has caused a lot of health issues for inner city residents and are not being addressed as an important issue in the current administration. Today, I dove a little deeper into the history of food deserts, why they exist, how they affect people of color disproportionately, and how not much is being done to combat this pressing issue. I hope you all gain an awareness of how food deserts may be impacting you all. I hope we all make a conscious shift to whole foods that are unprocessed and do not include unhealthy, cancer-causing seed oils or cheap oils, and spread this knowledge to our loved ones. It may be a matter of life or death. Thank you.